That's a large hexahedron cluster about 4 kilometers away from me. It's down by the Lake Ontario, and this is in Toronto. And I can see it's already draining my battery. I'm getting a warning signal, and it was fully charged just a minute ago. That's how much power these things have. And I just want to show that there's a lot of them. They're all over the place. There's one right next to it. Right there. It's another one. They're close to each other. I'm just going to show the both of them. They're in very close proximity. You can see them. They're not happy with me at this point, but that's irrelevant. There's another one right there. Yeah. I'm going to straighten out the camera here. Yep. These are very large because these are 4 kilometers away, and you can still see them. They're all over by the lake. I can go down the entire lake shore in Toronto and just see hundreds of them. These things have taken over the city. They're everywhere. I'm just gotta straighten out the camera. You can just see all the entities everywhere. They're in the air, regardless if they're in a cluster or not. That's at this point irrelevant whether they're in a cluster or not, because they're all over in the air. On me, everything around here, over the whole city. There's it's a stupid thing to debate what they're on. They're on everything. Every single thing. And these things are clustering all over the place, just everywhere. I'm just gonna catch one and try and catch one on top of that. On top of there. I overshot it. I had it back up. That's a big one. It's hard to get. It goes invisible. Yeah. That's a real big one. That's about 6 or 7 kilometers away. And that's right at the lakeshore there, on the east end of Toronto. That's around Woodbine Avenue and Lakeshore. And that may be 10 kilometers away. I don't know how far that is exactly. It's about a half an hour ride from where I am by car. That's a big one. They can all be big. That's a big one. And they don't always have to be they're a hexahedron no matter what, but they can appear to be different. But the bottom line is they are hexahedrons. But they can give the impression to be anything. That one's moving around, that's why I can't get it, because it's moving around all over the place. It's hard to catch in one spot. So now it's a large orb now, but that's really a hexahedron cluster. The reason it looks like an orb is because of the massive glow it has. So the glow covers up the hexahedron shape. But if it changes its mood, it'll become a hexahedron like it was before. Yeah, so that's a big one on the east end. That's right downtown. Those are in a plasma state. They're real hot. They're just right over downtown. Downtown Toronto, I'm talking about. You can just see all the entities all over. That's how many there are in the air in Toronto. You can see them moving all over. And this is not even high definition. And you can still see them. If I shot this in high definition, you could actually tell detail on them. The only reason I'm not shooting high definition is because it takes so long to load up to YouTube, and I don't have the time to wait that long. But these are clear enough images that you can tell what's going on. These things are everywhere, all over. There's no getting away from them. They're on every high point in the city. There's a lot on the ground too. They're just not as big. Only in the woods they go real big in the woods. And they're all over the whole city. There's no more, they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. And there's no getting away from them. Look at those things moving. That's the velocity and the vibrational level, the harmonic, and that can change. It can go fast, super fast, too fast to see, or real slow. And you can see all the different orbs that make up that cluster very clearly. I'm going to shoot the one that's right close to me before the battery goes dead, but you can see how many there are. They're just everywhere. I'm just going to turn over here and shoot in the woods if I can get this cluster. That's about 2 kilometers from me. It's too bright that this is close range and I have too much zoom power, so it's too bright to tell the orbs that make it up. That's one that's at the golf course in the woods. And there's a few more in back of it. Let's see if I can get them. Yeah, over there. All those are clusters. The woods are just full of them. And the woods are full of these things. Well, they're not as big as the ones by the lake. Down by the lake, they've been there longer and they've grown bigger. Every day they get bigger. The only one that's big around there is the one that's the closest to me. And that's that one right there in the middle. And it's really pissed off at me now. I can tell, I can feel it, how angry it is. Those are the clusters it's making. It just keeps producing them by replication and cloning. So it kind of clones them and replicates them, or replicates itself at the same time. The only difference is that they get assigned different codes so that they can identify each other by code. Otherwise they all look the same. There's no difference, at least none that I can tell. And that trend downtown, close to me. Yeah, that's right, down for me. I'm on the 18th story. This is sort of like at a 30-degree angle shooting down towards the street. They come in all different colors. You can see just how many orbs that are large orbs. There are billions of small orbs in a cluster, but the larger ones you can see them move. And you can clearly see that they can change color and even the size of the orbs that make up the cluster, because they break up into smaller units or combine into larger ones. They can do it either way, small or large. It doesn't matter. Look how close they are. And they're pretty good sized clusters. They're about 10 feet each. And those are orbs that are going to be clusters. They have to be glowing orbs first before they can be a large hexahedron cluster. They're all hexahedrons, but it's hard to tell that it's a hexahedron until it becomes large enough. When those two combine together, it'll become a hexahedron cluster that I can see as a hexahedron. Otherwise, I just know that they're hexahedron because I've seen them up close. But from here, I can only see the orb, or 2 orbs, I mean. But when they combine, I'll be able to see that they're a hexahedron cluster because they'll be large enough. See that changed from red to blue? In less than a blink of an eye, it changed from red to blue. It can be any color. There's no color limitation. There's no size limitation, and there's no number of smaller clusters in a large cluster limitation. Could be any number. It all depends on what sizes they choose to compose a large cluster. Larger orbs in a cluster have slower vibrational level, and when you have a lot of small orbs, they have a high vibrational level since they move around a lot faster. So the larger the clusters are that make up a hexahedron cluster, the slower the vibrational level, or the lower the vibrational level. Looks like Toronto's their city. It's no longer ours because they're everywhere. And just all over. And I can't believe nobody sees this but me. People must be insane. That's another cluster in the making, right there. They're just all over the place, and there's more and more every day. And they're not hiding anymore. They used to, but now they don't bother because there's so many of them. There's so many more of them than us. They don't need to hide. And you can clearly see what's in the air. There's so many, they've created a haze over that factory there. Okay, that's a chimney smoking from the factory, and you can clearly see them inside the smoke. It just shows them real good. So that's what's in the air. It's just full of them. That's a large cluster. That's a very large cluster there. Yeah, that's a real big one. It's as large as a cloud. That whole thing is a cluster. The whole thing that's glowing is one big cluster, and there's some active points where they act as particle accelerators. They accelerate the orbs around, but that's how many orbs there are. This is the same as my laser experiment. Now you can see them. I don't need a laser anymore. There's so many in the air. You can clearly see them all over. You don't even need a camera. If you know what you're looking for, you don't even need a camera. You can clearly see them, at least I can, all over the place. Overshot that one. That's in Scarborough. That's far away from me. That's at least 10 kilometers. That particular one is that's at 400x. And that's all the way in Scarborough. But a cluster nonetheless. It doesn't matter where it is, they don't change. Check it out. There it is. That's 3 of them together. It's 3 clusters all together. They're in a plasma state. That's in a plasma state. Yeah, that's 3 of them together. Now they're in a hexahedron. They just combined together into a hexahedron. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. They can be a hexahedron. That's their basic shape pattern, but they can change into any other shape. There's the nucleus of it. This is a plasma state right now. And that's 3 clusters in one. And they're very large. They're about 50 feet, the 3 of them. They cover at least 50 feet, maybe 100 feet. That's right downtown Toronto. And I'm surprised nobody notices it, because they're so bright. It's like having the sun downtown. Yeah. You can see all the entities all over. Just moving all over. So those 3 are like the nucleus for all the other ones that are flying around. They recharge all the other ones. They're like generators, and what they are is particle accelerators, because they recharge the particles and shoot them off to where they have to go. So let's see. Getting that battery light is gonna die soon. Yeah, that's down by the lake. That's towards Etobicoke, that's on the west side. And these things are moving around, they're not standing still. The camera's on a tripod. That's a lot of clusters together. That's in Etobicoke. That's west of where I am. It's about 5-6 kilometers west of where I am. There's a lot of clusters right there. This is even further west in Etobicoke. Those are big ones. And they're all together. There's like a whole bunch. Yeah. There's a cluster that's not glowing, and that's a large one. That's the center of it, and you can see that they don't all have to glow. And there it is right there. That's a huge cluster, but it's not glowing. That means the balls or the orbs are not spinning around fast enough yet. There it goes. The center just lit up. Okay, so you saw it for yourself, that the center just lit up like a light switch. As soon as the velocity of the orbs got to a certain vibrational level, the center lit up. And now that's just gonna get bigger, that nucleus. Okay, so you saw it for yourself, that they don't always glow. In actuality, only about 1/10 of 1% glow, and the rest don't glow. But that doesn't mean they're not around and that they are not active. They're just not active enough to glow. When they glow, they're in a semi-plasma state or a plasma state. And it's all done through electromagnetism and controlling of electromagnetic energy, and that allows them to change from the state of matter, being matter, to electromagnetic energy, and to plasma states. There's various plasma states, from semi-plasma to full plasma state, and there's all kinds of levels in between. But they use electromagnetic energy to charge up, and the way they can do that is because the smaller clusters, or the particles as I call them, or the orbs, they can reverse their polarity, and they can put their negative or positive charge anywhere around the entire sphere, so they can interact electrically and electromagnetically with all the other orbs around them as they need to, in order to create a charge, electromagnetic charge. So that's how they just formed that nucleus of that cluster. because before it was not glowing. And that nucleus is just going to get larger and more orbs are going to join. So that's how that works. I'm going to turn it off because my battery's going to go. They have a tendency to drain batteries. If I can find the switch.